Good morning. A couple things I want to share with you. Did some studying this morning, and honestly, over the past couple of days, I've really been trying to dig in. Um, Something about YouTube that a lot of people don't talk about is that the content that you're creating, you must, especially in regards to wisdom, something I study personally. It's a never-ending pursuit of learning and finding out what you don't know, assuming your own ignorance, and going in pursuit of truth truth, the closest thing to universal absolute truth that you can get, which of course assists you in your decision making. So, a couple things I want to talk about in regards to discerning people. Discerning people. Obviously, in the news, you see uh, many different things happening. Many different things happening, especially in regards to deception. Deception. You guys will notice, and I like to talk about marriage a lot. Marriage. Obviously Bill Gates, after 27 years, him and his wife um, announced you know, their pending divorce. You saw Jeff Bezos, and again, let's not assume that those of us who are watching this stream are anything close to what that situation is, because it's a different situation once there are billions on the line. Obviously, growing into a company such as Microsoft or Amazon, it takes help. The village, kind of helps support you on your journey there, and it's something that we can all aspire to be and to look up to in a great sense. But I can't help but look at marriage and kind of wonder what what are the variables that cause a 27-year relationship, and not so much relationship, but a marriage, the institution of marriage, in the most legal sense? What causes that business, that business to go under? And so, of course, I like to go to the root of issues and say, all right, I'm going to study wisdom, how to tell people apart, because that seems to be the biggest issue, is telling people apart. Who is the right person to marry? First of all, the question must be addressed: is marriage even possible? Especially in regards to the intent of marriage. To death do us part, for better or for worse, sickness and health, richer or for poorer. Is that even possible? How probable is it that I'm going to pick a single person, in the most traditional sense, because obviously it's 2021, so people making different decisions. No shade, because anyway, um, it's interesting. Has anyone ran the numbers on the probability of a human choosing another human being and not being wrong? Not being wrong. I'm of the mindset that if I get married, I'm doing it once. I post a lot about the woes of marriage, and whether or not I believe in marriage. And honestly, to keep it a buck, I want to get married. A lot of people probably would be surprised by that statement, but I actually do want to get married because I believe in the intent. I struggle to find incentives for myself to get married, but it's something that it's better for me to err on the side of caution, because money can be rebuilt, assets can be rebuilt, relationships can be rebuilt, but legacy is not something that I'm personally going to leave to fate, or wondering, or wishful thinking. So this morning, real quick, I had 12 things I want to talk about. Now, of course, these are none of my own. I am a studier of mentors. So I wasn't in the dark in a cave in the mountains at 2 a.m. looking upon the stars and writing down these notes upon the scrolls. No, no. I watched a video that was like a couple hours long, and I took notes on it. Dr. Mike Murdock is who I got it from. So again, I always say on this channel, eat the chicken, spit the bones. Not every person that has wisdom is right about everything, including myself. Someone who is wise can still be wrong. That's why we must continue to seek knowledge and wisdom, and go in search and pursuit of the chance that I could be wrong about something. So 12 differences in people. 12 12 differences in people. What separates this person from another person? What makes them unique? Why should I choose you over the other billions of people? For what? What makes you valuable to my life? How am I valuable to your life? How do I solve a problem in your life? How do you solve a problem in life? That's what relationships are built off of. The foundation of any relationship, whether it be a business and a customer, two friends, brother and sister, mother and daughter, mother and son, father and daughter, father and son, any relationship in your life, the foundation is built on the exchange of value, especially as it continues throughout time. The exchange of value is what keeps two people in the same boat. The exchange of value. And the quicker you learn that and you understand, why is this person in my life? Oh, they solve this problem. My boy Mike, he solves emotional problems. We laugh. That's all we talk about is just, we go back and forth joking. Every now and then we get serious, but we joke. Like I got my other friend Mike, and he's just a wizard with money, a wizard with numbers. Intelligent. He's a mentor as well as someone he's just a quality friend since high school. He's exposed me to so many different things that I would have never known to be available if I had not had a different kind of friend. My mom solves emotional problems. My father solves wisdom problems, knowledge problems, man problems. He gives me an insight into my future because I come from him. So by realizing that the exchange of value is taking place anyway, whether you want to realize it or not or acknowledge it or not, the exchange of value is happening. The Air Force and me, we have a contract. We're exchanging value. They give me money, they give me benefits. I give them time. I give them effort. Exchange of value. That's what every relationship, every contract, when you think about a contract, just think about a relationship, whether it be verbal, written, or otherwise. I give you something, you give me something. The second that one person opts out of that, we have an issue. And if you really think about a contract in general, a contract assumes that there might be a chance that someone else might be backing out disingenuously in this exchange. That's why we have contracts, because we almost kind of assume anyway that one of us might back out of this contract. One of us might renege. So that's kind of the groundwork of what I want to talk about real quick. Number one, who you pursue and who pursues you is a clue to how you are different or how someone else is different. Who you are pursuing and who pursues you. There's a good chance that who you admire, you will become. There's a good chance that who you admire, you will become like. Who has your attention? Who has your energy? Who do you follow on Instagram? Who do you want to be like? It's a clue. You hear this a lot in dating in terms of who pursues you. And we're always trying to fix who's pursuing us. Because typically the person that pursues you is not the person you pursue. The person that wants a relationship with you is not typically the person you want a relationship with. The person that follows you on Instagram, sometimes it's mutually, exchanged in terms of a follow for follow, but a lot of times your crush is not the person that's crushing on you. And a lot of us have issues with that. We don't want to like who likes us. That's why we have what's called the friend zone, because that's where we place all the people that like us that we don't particularly like in the same way back. But it's a clue to your value in a given environment. Officers, you tend to see who they hang with, people that are like them. Other officers, not only because of the environment and the rules set in place and the rules of engagement, but just because of their role in a given environment. It's different. A couple things in regards to who you pursue and who pursues you. Beauty attracts everyone. Aesthetic beauty attracts everyone. You see this in relationships where Someone who's beautiful is attracting everyone. Someone who's handsome universally is attracting everyone. But we must pay attention to who we choose out of those people that pursued us. You have athletes who are pursued by all these different colleges, but who did you choose out of those colleges, out of those coaches, out of those programs? Pay attention to that. It's a clue to who you are. Who pursues you? The question that someone asks you is explanation of who they are, but how you respond is the explanation of who you are. Let's keep that thing in mind. Let's keep those principles, those values in mind. Number 2, what have you chosen to magnify in your mind consistently? Who you become is determined by what you have determined to magnify in your mind. Whatever you magnify in your mind will grow. It's what you call focus. Whatever you choose to magnify in your mind will grow. Feelings are a reaction to your environment. Feelings are a reaction to your environment. Your focus is relative to your goals. So again, whatever you're constantly thinking about is going to grow, which may take from what your focus should be, because your focus should be relative to your goals, not how you feel. I feel comfortable. I feel warm. I feel cold. I feel hungry. Your feelings can be just about anything. I feel jealous. I feel envious. I feel angry. You will feel things relative to the environment you're in. It's simply a barometer. It's simply a temperature gauge. It's just telling you this is different in this environment based on these couple of variables that I'm experiencing. By no means should you just constantly react to your feelings. Because I feel cold right now, I'm throwing a coat. Oh, I feel hot now, I got a hot flash. I'm taking the coat off. You're just going back and forth. But your focus is saying, out of all these other variables that I'm experiencing in this world right now, in my room, in my environment, I'm choosing to focus on this. And I'm going to magnify that. If you're driving to work and somebody cuts you off and you just magnify that in your mind the rest of the day, what is the end result of that? Choose wisely what you're choosing. Again, it's choice. It's free will. A lot of people argue the free will thing. I got videos and I'm not going to get into that in this video. But choosing what you're going to value, choosing what you're going to magnify, what you're going to focus on, what you're going to linger on. You might have to put something on the walls. Change your wallpaper on your cell phone. Whatever you look at most, use that to help assist you in keeping your focus tunnel vision. Tunnel vision. Three, what are you willing to ignore? This ties directly into number 2. Focus. What are you willing to ignore? Options. Creativity is the creation of options. Creativity is the creation of options. Focus is the removal of options. Oh, I got it in my eye. There it is. Creativity is the creation of options. Focus, the removal of options. What have you chosen to ignore? Who's that person in your life that does not bring you value that you have not chosen to ignore? What is the opportunity that does not benefit you that you have not chosen to ignore? A lot of the mistakes we make in our lives have to do with what we should have ignored. The pastries over there, the cookies over there. No, ignore it. Someone who is just baiting you into a reaction. I got a question about, how you're dealing with bullies or, dealing with the cliques or dealing with issues between humans, especially in certain age groups where you have the high school, bickering and going back and forth. Doesn't matter your gender, doesn't matter. We've all dealt with that on some level. They don't like me, I don't like them. They don't like my shoes. They trying to roast me. You getting roasted back and forth, whatever. Choose wisely what you're going to ignore. Everything shouldn't be ignored. Some things require confrontation. Part of wisdom is knowing what to confront. Not everything. Not everything has a reward. Not every battle has a reward. So let's say you do go confront someone. What did you gain by that? That's part of wisdom. Predicting outcomes of your energy, return on investment, daily evaluating the results of your efforts. Again, this is wisdom. It's not something you learn overnight. It's something you pursue on a daily, moment to moment basis. Number 4, what are you willing to walk away from? Comma, who are you willing to walk away from? Fear of missing out controls a lot of what today's modern humans tend to do. Or rather, what we're controlled by. The fear of missing out. Fear. Probably the one thing you're thinking about, and one thing I'm thinking about, is relationships. Relationships. A lot of times we stay for fear of not having another opportunity. And there's some merit to that. Because a lot of us seem to think that opportunities are cyclical, that because I got one relationship, I can get another. Comparable or better than the one I had previously. The job I have, there's a chance that I might not be able to get a better job than the job I currently have. And there's some merit to that. A lot of times we jump from the frying pan to the fire because we just assume and we make decisions based off our feelings that if I just make this one move, things will get better. Things will improve automatically simply because I changed this one thing. You could be wrong. It takes wisdom. What or who are you willing to walk away from determines the difference between you and someone else. The wisdom that you exude, that you operate on. Number 5, who have you chosen to believe? Who have you chosen to believe? Your life will be a result of the instructions you follow. Whatever you're doing today, whatever you do daily, is a result of the advice that you're taking. The advice that you take is what you believe. The advice that you utilize is the advice that you believe. Consider the source of the person talking to you. There's something called ad hominem. I mentioned in a previous video. It's a logical fallacy where you use the person to negate their argument when the argument could have some merit. It must be weighed on its own, despite who's telling you. There could be a friend or an enemy that tells you the bridge is out. You're probably quicker to believe the friend that tells you than the enemy. But the information must be, there could be a chance they're right. Who have you chosen to believe? Who do you subscribe to? Who do you follow on YouTube? What podcast do you listen to? Why? There are plenty of snake oil salesmen that are making money off your ignorance because you simply believe whatever you hear. Wisdom is listening to everyone and going in pursuit of truth only. You listen to everyone, both sides of the aisle, Democrat, Republican, enemy, friend, ops. You listen to everyone. Your favorite, influencer, you listen to them, you weigh their information. You go to your enemy, people you mostly disagree with, you weigh the information. You weigh it in reality. You look at the evidence objectively. You say, based on science, based on philosophy, based on religion, based on all these different disciplines, mathematics, physics, whatever. You take the information and you weigh it objectively. You go to every source you can find. This is why I love studying, because it makes me more objective in my decision making and my reasoning, to where I'm able to see the world through the right lens, not through my emotional lens, not through my feelings, but through the lens of that makes sense. That lines up with this evidence over here. It correlates directly to science or physics or religion or philosophy. It makes sense. It makes sense. And then we proceed from a place of my research is sound, therefore my decisions are sound. What else we got? I ain't gonna say that. One thing I will say is that regret is the world's greatest teacher. In human history, there has never been anything more valuable than regret in terms of learning your lesson. Because wisdom will cry out in the streets. Wisdom crieth out in the streets. yo, the bridge is out, bro. But because we didn't say in the right tone of voice, my delivery wasn't spot on, you ignored what I said. He's like, don't yell at you. The bridge is out. You dusty fool, the bridge is out. But because I called you a name, because you didn't like my delivery, you didn't like the way I approached you, you ignored the information, you drove off the bridge. Tell me the bridge is out. I don't care what your tone of voice is. I don't care how you deliver it. If you're right, you're right. Let's say you're not right. Let's say the bridge isn't out. That's still something I should probably heed in terms of long-term effectiveness, wisdom. Should I experience the bridge being out just so I can weigh whether or not you were right? Maybe it's worth looking into. Maybe that there might be some value, some merit to what they're saying. They could be wrong. But do you want to be the person that finds out? I always said when I was in Alaska, I don't want to be the person to discover something, discover dinosaurs are still alive. For what? I'm going to go to the Congo swamp in Africa, and I'm going to discover whether or not dinosaurs are still in there. Why should I be the person that discovers Megalodon is still swimming in the oceans? No. I'll watch it on YouTube when someone else discovers it. But I'm going to heed wisdom and say, keep my behind on land somewhere. Keep my behind in civilization. Keep my behind in the crib. Because someone else is going to figure it out. And they're probably going to lose their life as their camera falls on the wayside. Someone's going to find their camera as their bones are being, all the meat pulled from the bones. And, these dinosaurs feasting. These sharks just going in. Someone else is going to figure it out. Shout out to R Blaze for the super chat. Appreciate you. My boy, let me show you some love real quick. My boy, are you still transposing? Where have you moved to, and what is the one place that you live that you have enjoyed the most? I currently live in New Mexico now, Clovis, New Mexico. And yes, I still transpose. I love transposing. Love transposing. Anyway, what is one place that you have lived that you have enjoyed most? In hindsight, my first deployment to Abu Dhabi, definitely experience of a lifetime. Living in a different country, being that close to Dubai and just seeing how other people live, seeing what their normal is, amazing. Appreciate the super chat. What else we got? Number 6. What or who is the enemy that you are willing to confront? We talked about this earlier. If you want promotion, you must confront an enemy. If you want promotion, you must confront an enemy. You must find who that enemy is in that environment. You think about video games. Before you get to the next level, there must be a boss that you must confront. The ultimate boss, monster guy, thingy, monster dude. The ultimate boss. You must confront them now and defeat them in order to get promotion. Let's go to the next level. Enemies are necessary for change and promotion. Enemies are necessary for change and promotion. Take a quick break, and we'll be right back. Morning workouts and hydration lead to many latrine adventures. Wisdom cried in the street, people. A lot of stuff is on the internet. It's available already. There are books written all over the place. And it must be something you go in pursuit of. Again, wisdom is not something you just gain with age. You don't just grow into being wise. You learn. Some people have to experience it. Some people have to take L's. Some people have to lose their entire life savings to realize gambling is not advisable in terms of financial investing. It's not a good way to do it. Some people, try Bitcoin and they hit it big. Some people hit Bitcoin and they lose it big. Some people have to learn through experience and realizing, all right, maybe that decision wasn't the best. Maybe there was a better way. Pain is a sign that there's probably a better way, or there's a issue that you must address. Stress is a sign that there's some inefficiencies. Maybe you're not being effective. So seek wisdom, people. Seek wisdom. This stuff is not the most entertaining content. My content is not the most entertaining, but when it comes to life principles and when it comes to those dry spells, when it comes to those droughts, when you're in the valley emotionally, when you're at Clear Air Force Station in Alaska, when you're during the winters and you're struggling, wisdom is what you go in pursuit of. So, yeah. What else we got? Number 7. The weakness you're willing to acknowledge and overcome. What is the weakness that you have not acknowledged? What is your Achilles heel? Shout out to Greek mythology. What is the one thing the one vice that you refuse to give up? You refuse to talk about. No one knows about it. It happens behind closed doors, behind closed curtains, at night, 2 a.m. What is that one thing, the two or three things that if anybody found out about this, you would probably experience shame, guilt? You are a slave to whatever you have to hide or lie about. It controls you. It owns you. Whatever you have to hide or lie about, you are a slave to that. You work with no pay. You wake up and you have to cover up, and you got to hide, and you got to overcompensate, and you try to smear over it, and it's too much work. But the difference in people is who confronts and acknowledges their weaknesses and says, I'm going to try to overcome this. I'm going to get help. I'm going to ask someone else for help. When I was in Alaska dealing with, anxiety and trying to overcome my issues, just worrying about, I'm not competent enough. I'm not perfect in this job. I'm not excelling in this job. Perceivably, in my own mind, I wasn't that person. I wasn't him. And I realized, all right, I've done everything in my own power. I've intermittent fasted. I've switched my diet. I'm working out twice a day. I'm getting more sleep. I'm getting up earlier. I'm drinking caffeine, drinking alcohol. I'm like, I can't fix this by myself. You have to address the pride and realize maybe I have to go outside of me to get help with these couple things. Long term, it's imperative that we all address those vices that no one talks about. Porn, a lot of men have not addressed it, but yet these companies are on 10, making billions, trillions. OnlyFans. There's something in the water. No judgment. Whatever. It's not up to me. It's not up to me. You understand? Sugar for me, alcohol, spending money I don't have, lack of discipline, cookies, donuts, it's something we all have to address in terms of what is that vice that no one wants to talk about. Don't bother that. Leave it alone. What weakness are you willing to acknowledge and overcome determines who you can and will be later down the road. What is your reaction to greatness is number 8. What is your reaction to greatness? Do you make statements in the presence of greatness, or do you ask questions? Do you try to impress the person who is great, the person who's achieved? Or do you ask questions to try to learn? Do you try to glean wisdom from them? Do you try to seek mentorship? Do you ask for handouts? Or do you ask them how they did what they did? Do you buy their books? Or do you try to just take their time? Think about that. I mentioned this earlier. Who you admire is probably who you will become. It's a clue. If you take all your inspiration from drill rappers, where do you think your life's going to end up? This is why I'm very glad to see more black billionaires coming out of the black community, because it gives us something else to point to. Yes, a lot of them were previous rappers, but it shows you people can change, people can evolve. It's not a life sentence to be a rapper, to be in the streets, to be in the trap. No, it's not a life sentence. It can be. It can be relative to your willingness to change. And as you can see people starting in one lane and slowly drifting into another lane, making it cool to be a CEO, making it cool to be an entrepreneur, making it trendy to be in corporate. Think about that. Corporate is cool now. Who you admire is probably a clue to who you will become. So you might have to change some things. Number 9, who have you chosen to honor? Honor is an action. Honor is an action. It's how you show someone, I have acknowledged that you're different, that you are unique, that you have achieved. This is how I am expressing my honor for you. The super chat that I got from matter of fact, R-Blaze with another one. Wow. Bruh, R-Blaze, you can't guard me, bruh. You cannot guard me. Appreciate you, man. A super chat is a form of honor. It's a form of honor. It's a way of showing someone, I recognize that you are different. I recognize that you are not like everyone else. It's okay to be different. You shouldn't have to try to be different, but you discover that you are already different. You discover, I don't think the same way everyone else does. My channel is different than everyone else's channel because I'm different. Not because I'm trying to be unique and I'm trying to force so much difference. No, I'm unique because I'm breathing. And to walk in that. I can trace your successes and failures to who you have chosen to honor. This ties into who you have chosen to believe, who you spend time with, who you admire, who you get your advice from. Number 10, who are you willing to protect? Something about protection that a lot of people don't realize is that when someone is protecting you, that means that they have the authority and the responsibility. Imagine a child wanting the authority and the responsibility, but they want your protection as the parent. How does that make sense? Like, no, because I'm protecting you, that means I have the authority and responsibility over you, which means if something happens to you, it's my fault. But that means you should heed my instruction. You see this every day. I'm not going to get specific, but you see people wanting protection, but they don't want the correction. What if the correction was a form of protection? Could you accept it? Would you accept it? If I said the bridge is out, and because you didn't want to listen to me because of who it was coming from, because of my tone, because of my delivery, I told you the bridge is out, and you said, yo, protect me. But then you're going to keep driving. Make that make sense. A lot of times, correction is a sign that somebody cares about you. But we live in this day and age where everyone wants to do what they want to do, when they want to do it, with no restriction, no consequences, no accountability, which is fine. Which is fine. Do you, man? Do you? But one day, the consequences will ride to your door. And again, as I mentioned, regret will teach you what wisdom couldn't, what the warnings couldn't. There's warning signs all over the road, and yet people still get in accidents. Warning signs all over the place, but a cell phone has taken precedent over our attention instead of the warning signs, the yields, the speed limits, all the different signs. And again, I'm not talking from a place of superiority, because I'm in the same boat where I have struggles. I get distracted. I lose focus. I have pride issues. I deal with arrogance. And so, of course, all this, I had to digest this information before giving it out because it applies to me first. I can't tell, my future wife to be accountable. You need to be giving. You need to sacrifice. You need to be fit, friendly. You need to smile. Why would I dare embark on telling someone else what to do? And I'm not that person. Obviously, I'm different. I'm unique. But at the same time, there's certain principles that apply to both of us. Both of us. How could I tell her to be debt free if it didn't start here first? Like, I'm not marrying you with student loans. Why have you not addressed your debt? And then try to bring that when I'm not tying my social security number to yours. Why would I do that? If I'm debt free, why should I? So, of course, wisdom starts at home. Before you give it out, you start here. You start home. Clean your own room. And then you tell somebody else, hey, there's some trash in the street. Go pick that up. What else we got? We're almost done. Number 11, where do you invest your time? Where do you invest your time? Where you invest your time is a clue to what you value. Where you spend the most time is a clue to what you value most. Sometimes out of necessity, such as, a military job, or, you might be deployed. So you can't spend time with your family, even though you value your family more than your job. But realizing that one kind of authorizes the other in terms of you probably can't be broke, can't be unemployed trying to support a family. You need both, which means you must prioritize, which means some things have to be told later. After this is more important right now. You guys are eating because I'm doing this out here. So I have to do this. Sacrifice. I sacrifice being away from my family in order to support my family. So you start seeing those things, how they correlate. Where do you invest your time? Social media? What is the return on investment on social media? Some people make money off social media. Some people are making money because they make a post. I'm investing time here because there's a return on investment. I get something back. The ability to network, financial currency. Also, this gives me practice with public speaking. Giving, in a lot of cases, it's its own reward. So there's return on investment here, but it's only an hour of my day. I have 23 other hours that I can utilize. 8 hours goes to sleep. For me, it's more like 5 or 6. But where do you invest your time? Some people are sleeping 12 hours a day. What's the return on investment on 12 hours? Not much more than 8, except you're digging into the other hours that you can get on return on investment for. How much TV do you watch relative to how much TV do you create? Watching TV is watching someone else make money. Social media, in a lot of cases, is watching someone else make money. You're just consuming. Consuming. As an adult, you should be producing. Producing. Me, I should be creating more than I'm watching. I don't. It's very difficult to do. I mean, this is going to end up being close to, an hour live stream. I'll probably watch more than an hour of content today. So the goal is balance. And wisdom is the pursuit of balance. Number 12, whose instruction do you obey? We talked about this earlier. Ties into who you believe. And again, belief can end with saying, yes, I believe you. But actions speak louder than words. Obedience. A lot of people struggle with this. We don't want to obey someone. We want to be in control of the instruction and the actions. Well, you can't, that doesn't work under mentorship. You can't be in charge of the process if you're being mentored. You're following someone else's instruction, which means there's a level of trust. There's a level of research as well, verification. You don't just take someone's word for it, but still, if you trust someone enough, which again, that's built over time. Trust is relative to someone's words and actions. So you look at their words compared to their actions, you get trust from that. At the bare minimum, you just look at someone's consistency. What do they do consistently? I can trust that they will do that. It's why I value my enemies more than my friends. I value my ops more than I do my friends because my enemies are consistent with what they do. They will consistently be my enemy. Consistently. And I will be surprised the day that they show kindness to me. For what? But it's much harder to be a friend to someone because you have to be consistently kind and giving and sacrificial. And then the one time that they cross you, it pretty much ends the relationship, ends the friendship. Friendship is much harder than being an enemy. That's why if I went into business, I would hire my enemy. I would hire the opposing lawyer. I would hire my enemy quicker than I would hire a friend. Because gratitude is a burden. Revenge is a pleasure. Showing gratitude makes people feel guilty. They feel exhausted owing someone money, owing someone a favor. Whereas an enemy, I expect you to just do what you do consistently. We don't got to be friends. We don't got to be cool. But if I'm paying you, we can start a whole new chain in terms of exchange of value. It has nothing to do with our beef. But I trust you not to be kind to me. And if you are kind to me, I benefit. But it's not like I've based my entire relationship, my entire business off of you being consistently kind, because kindness is water flowing uphill. It's very difficult. It's very difficult to be kind consistently throughout an entire lifetime. But think about our actual base nature of getting it back at someone. Revenge, being angry. Anger occurs so quickly. It's one of the first emotions we learn. You don't have to teach someone to be angry. You don't teach a child to be upset, to cry, to throw a temper tantrum. You never taught a child to have a temper tantrum. They do it anyway. But gratitude, patience, principles, wisdom, giving, sacrifice, something has to be learned and practiced. The difference between success and failure is typically an instruction from someone advising you. And again, you're not the first person to do just about anything on the face of the earth. Most of us are not Elon Musk, Tim Cook, Bill Gates. Most of us are consumers in regards to breaking new ground. The new iPhone that's coming out, if you're watching this, you're probably not on the team that's actually, bringing that on board. You're probably going to be the person buying it, especially iPhone users who are just followers in most cases, not free thinkers like Android users. Android users question why I need this phone. I have all Apple products except for the iPhone because I question things. Like, why is there a notch on my screen? Why don't you have a USB-C port? Why? I question things. Not that it's always right or it's always wrong, but the fact that I can't just take your word for it. The point being is that when given instruction, it's a chance to win, and it's a chance to reveal deception. An instruction is a chance to win, or it's a chance to reveal deception. Either way, you benefit. Some will call it anti-fragile, where I benefit from this experience. If you're wrong, I benefit from knowing that you're wrong. Therefore, I'm a little more hesitant next time. I'm not going to completely write you off. But if I find out there's deception taking place and you have no credentials, you have no idea what you're talking about, you're just a guru, no. That's the video. 12 differences in people. You get to choose what kind of person you become. This is a very concentrated video in terms of content that I really wanted to get in under an hour. Thankfully, I was able to do so. I left a lot of things out in terms of things I wanted to expand on in terms of just kind of really digging deep into the weeds of how wisdom works. Wisdom is in pursuit of the right outcome relative to your goals and the desired end result. It's pursuit. The person you want, the person you're in love with secretly, at some point you will have to pursue them or watch them go with someone else. That's the issue with today's society. We expect them to come to us. We have entitlement. And a lot of people won't learn that until they're 50 dealing with regret, 60 dealing with regret, 70 dealing with regret. Regret and old age go perfectly together. And a lot of us will never learn the truth until it's too late, because they didn't want to assume that they're wrong. No, I'm right. I'm right. I don't want to be wrong. I don't want to ask a question. I don't want to ask someone else's opinion. I want to listen to my content that I enjoy listening to, that tells me what I want to hear. No, just tell me that I'm right, that I'm not wrong. It wasn't my fault. It was never my fault. It's not me. I'm not the issue. We listen to content we want to hear thanks to the internet that allows us to do so. We can find exactly the niche, the demographic, that we can find the area of the internet that just tells us exactly what we want to hear, and we just get to eat off that. And just continuously on repeat, new content, fresh content, and like, comment, and subscribe, and just more content and more content of exactly what we want to hear. And never at any point will that producer tell us, hey, there's a chance you could be wrong. Maybe you were wrong about that. Maybe your decisions are showing you can't have it all. Your life is proof you can't have it all. Your life, the day you're about to live right now, depending on what time, time zone, what time of day you're watching this, your life is proof you can't have it all. You can't have everything. And a lot of people lose everything in the attempt to have everything. You lose what you had trying to have more, trying to get everything. So again, wisdom cried in the streets, people. This video will not have millions of views. This video will not be trending. This video is not cool, but it's why I study, because my goal is not to be successful now. It's be successful later, continuously. I want to have pleasure now, but I would prefer to have pleasure at 50 when I have less energy, when I have less, agility, less strength, less virality. A lot of people do not plan for 50 and 60 and 70 retirement, and you can't work, and your eyesight is bad, and you're actually aging, entropy. Your body's degrading. Your body is shutting down on you. What is your hospice plan? Do you have life insurance? How's your family going to support you, if at all? Do you have any family? Do they love you? Have you given to them previously to where they would feel like they will want to support you, to help you? You will not be 20, 40 years from now. You just won't be. The math doesn't work out. So at some point, you're going to have to address what pillars in my life are missing. I can't build this house off sand. There must be some concrete. There must be some steel in this foundation. And it's what I spend my time pursuing, because I haven't achieved anything. I'm 28. That means there's a lot I don't know. Most of the stuff I don't know. Most of it. If I assumed I knew half of everything, there's still another half of everything I don't know. And that's assuming I knew half of everything. What exists in the other half of everything you don't know, assuming you know half of everything? Everything else. I'm done. Appreciate y'all watching. Again, appreciate all the super chats. Appreciate you. Thanks for everyone who joined this morning. Much love. And really wanted to just get this off my heart, get this out my notes. It's taking up so much space. You see the notes I take in the mornings. It's studying. It's studying. I fear what I don't know. Some would call that anxiety. Some would call me, control freak. You have to know everything. But there's a certain peace that ignorance brings. But ignorance tends to follow you. It stays with you, just like wisdom does. Once you pursue wisdom and now you're held accountable, now you know. Timeshares are bad. Like now you know, maybe I shouldn't invest in this brand new coin, invest my life savings. Maybe try the index fund, the mutual fund that's proven over time. So that's the video. I will see y'all next video. I appreciate y'all support. Say what's good to your boy.